The stars were not silent. They whispered warnings in ancient radiation, sang sorrow into cosmic dust, and screamed through the broken hulls of dead civilizations. Elira stood in silence, her eyes fixed on the glow of the alien fleet as it began to move again, an ocean of darkness blotting out the stars behind them. She didn't blink. She didn't flinch. The command deck behind her was chaos officers shouting coordinates, engineers rerouting power, commanders begging for backup that wasn't coming. Earth had gone dark 3 days ago. The Sol relay had collapsed under gravitational stress, and no signals had returned since. They were alone now. The last human battleship Nereid and her, Elira's voice was calm, but it cut through the noise. "Fire control status?" A panicked voice answered. "Cyclone batteries online, but we only have 40 seconds before their main guns charge." "Shields won't hold," she nodded. "Then we won't let them fire." There was a silence. Everyone on the bridge turned, because no one was sure what she meant. Her expression didn't change. "Target their command nodes. Manual override." "Give me firing control." "But ma'am," I said manual. "Override now." The firing console obeyed. Elira stepped forward, fingers moving with practiced grace, not hesitation. Outside, the enemy's glowing crescents, their warships shifted into their attack pattern, blocking all escape routes. But she wasn't trying to escape. Her hands glowed against the interface as she linked her neural signature to the ancient, barely understood human precog system called Oracle. A prototype tech salvaged from the ruins of Karen 9, and it had only worked for one person. As the system engaged. Memories weren't summoned, they ambushed her. There was snow flickering against a red sky. Her sister Lyra laughing while holding a radio. "They say the stars are screaming," she said, and Elira had laughed. "Then we scream back." But Lyra hadn't come back from the outpost on Io. That had been the first time Elira disobeyed orders. She went looking and found only silence. The first wave of enemy fire came light lances, curving across space like lightning spun by gods. She moved before they fired. The Oracle let her glimpse microseconds ahead, predicting not just velocity, but intent. She fired the first shot. The Nereid Cyclone. A ray screamed across space and struck the exact point where the enemy's command node would be, not where it was. The alien warship shattered, its debris crashing into 2 others. The crew erupted. Cheers, disbelief. Then the enemy adapted, new formation, faster, erratic, changing trajectories. The next shots were guesses, not all hit. The bridge trembled as the Nereid took 2 direct hits. Elira flew backwards, blood in her mouth, but she was already scrambling to her feet. "We've lost the outer hull on Deck 9, someone screamed. She coughed. "Seal it, rotate power to the internal coils." "We're not dying here." Another flash. Another memory. She was a cadet, watching her mother on a screen. The vote to abandon the outer colonies had passed. "We must protect Earth," her mother said. "Even if it means sacrificing the Fringe." Elira had been stationed on the Fringe. She remembered the screams when the colonies burned. She remembered the voice that came through after all others went silent. "You're not forgotten. We'll fight. Together." It was the first alien she ever spoke to. Now she stood on a bridge firing into that same species fleet, because peace hadn't lasted. Something had changed. Something had lied. "Power is dipping." An officer shouted, "We've got 3 minutes max." Elira turned to the screen. Her hands trembled now, not from fear, but exhaustion. Oracle was burning through her neurons. It wasn't made for long-term use. It fed on possibility and turned it into certainty, and certainty had a cost. She whispered, "What are you hiding?" And Oracle answered, "A dark star." A weapon buried inside the heart of the enemy flagship, not alien-made, human tech, a beacon. She saw Earth again, only this time it wasn't burning. It had already surrendered. They hadn't lost contact by force. They had turned off the signal. Her voice came out cold. "They betrayed us." No one understood, but they heard the change in her tone. "Reroute all power to forward thrusters," she said. "Ram the flagship," gasps. "That's suicide." Elira turned to them, her face streaked with blood, her body shaking. "Not suicide." Victory. And then her voice softened, barely audible over the alarms. I promised Lyra I'd finish. What she started, she keyed in the override codes. The ship lurched forward, accelerating past maximum tolerance. The enemy didn't react in time. They didn't expect a human ship to charge. At the last second, Oracle activated the temporal lock. Elira vanished from the bridge. And woke up on the enemy flagship. Alone. Inside a hollow chamber of ancient steel. Her body was weak, but she was standing. A figure approached, a tall, robed alien with human eyes. You shouldn't be here, it said. You're too early. What are you? Elira asked. The figure smiled. I'm what comes after peace. Fails, and behind it a machine hummed with power. Human design. Human signatures. The betrayal was deeper than she imagined, and something inside the machine was waking up. It turned its gaze toward her, and it knew her name. The chamber pulsed with heatless light, a heartbeat from the machine echoing through Elira's bones. She stepped forward, legs unsteady from the oracle jump, skin crawling with the sensation of being watched from every direction at once. The robed alien remained still, unreadable, its human eyes shimmering like mercury. The machine, massive, silent, almost breathing, seemed to draw Elira in without moving. Where am I? She whispered. You're in the heart of the Ark. The figure replied, voice like folded metal. Humanity's final contingency. The weapon Earth was never meant to use. Her pulse jumped. That's not possible. We never built something like this. The figure took a step closer. You didn't, but those before you did. Project Exodus. Initiated before the collapse. Designed to be hidden in plain sight, encoded into alien systems, seeded into their infrastructure during the peace accord. It waited for a signal, and Earth just sent it. Elira's mind reeled. That meant Earth had never stopped fighting. They just changed the rules, abandoned the colonies, let the fringe worlds die. They'd played the long game, while soldiers like her bled believing in unity. She clenched her fists. Why me? Why? Now? The figure's face softened. Because your sister sent you, her breath caught. She didn't die on Io, the figure said. She was captured, recruited. She found the truth about Earth's betrayal long before you did. And she left you a message encoded inside the Oracle system. The chamber shivered, and suddenly the lights dimmed. A projection burst into the air, flickering blue, distorted. Lyra's face, gaunt but alive, eyes burning with fire. If you're seeing this, Elira, then I'm already dead. But it means you found the Ark. You found what they buried in. The stars. Earth is gone, Elira, not destroyed, sold. They made a deal. Gave up the fringe worlds. Gave up us. You were meant to die at Karen 9, but you didn't because you're stronger than all of them. The message began to glitch. Static ate the edges of Lyra's face. You have a choice, she said. Destroy the Ark, or finish what I started. And, then the light vanished. The alien turned away as if giving her space. But the silence held too many questions. You said I was early, Elira said finally. What did you mean? The figure paused. The Ark was not meant to awaken for another decade. Earth signal triggered it prematurely. The system is unstable, but that may be to your advantage if you can control it. And if I can't, then it won't be the aliens who burn the galaxy. It'll be you. A deep groan echoed. Through the structure, the Ark was shifting. Its interior was folding, reshaping like a machine dreaming of war. Oracle flared in Elira's mind, but it showed no paths forward, only shadows. Possibilities that ended in fire, suddenly, distant. Footsteps echoed. Sharp, metallic soldiers. Elira turned. They know I'm here. The figure nodded. They serve the Ark now. Earth's Black Division. Genetically altered, stripped of name and loyalty. You'll need to move quickly. He reached into his robe and handed her a blade, not a weapon of war, but an old ceremonial combat knife. Why are you helping me? She asked. The figure hesitated. Because I remember what it was like to be human. She didn't ask. More, she couldn't afford to. The corridor ahead was narrow, lined with light reactive surfaces that shifted as she passed. The deeper she went, The more the structure changed, walls rippled like water. Gravity tugged sideways. The Ark was aware, and then she saw it, a chamber shaped like an eye, pulsating with data-floating symbols, spinning holograms, fragments of language both human and alien. At the center was the core, not mechanical, not digital, biological. Brain, massive, ancient, human DNA. Wrapped in alien neural strands, Lyra's voice echoed in her head. You have a choice. She approached the interface. The system responded to her presence lights turning blue. But behind her, the footsteps returned, closer now. She could hear the breathing of soldiers trained not to breathe. She had seconds, then the core spoke. Not allowed. Elira Kael, will you complete the sequence? Or will you destroy what humanity sacrificed its soul to build? She reached toward the console, heart racing. Oracle flared again. But this time it showed her something different. A city future Earth ruled by silence. Screens broadcasting. A single voice. Her voice. The Ark didn't want to defend humanity. It wanted to replace it, and then the floor exploded behind her. Black armored soldiers surged in, energy weapons drawn. Elira dove forward, slamming her palm on the console. Not to activate, but to override. The core screamed, and time shattered. She was no longer on the Ark. She was falling through memory. Her sister's eyes, her mother's lies. A war that had never ended. She landed on cold steel, gasping, and realized she was back on the Nereid, only the ship was empty. No crew. No stars. Only a countdown blinking across the cracked command console. 0 hours, 1 minute, and 47 seconds. And a voice, Oracle's voice, whispering, you brought it with you. The red warning lights pulsed in the silent command deck, reflecting off shattered panels and bloodless walls. Elira's breath came in gasps. The countdown on the screen blinked. 0 hours, 1 minute, and 46 seconds, unrelenting. Oracle's voice echoed in her head again, calm, void of emotion. You brought it with you. No, she whispered, stumbling back from the console. That's not possible. I shut it down. I never activated the sequence. You touched the core. That was enough. Her hands trembled. She looked around, searching for signs of life, but the Nereid was deserted. No crew, no damage, no signs of a struggle. Just stillness. It wasn't like before. It was as if the ship had never been alive. What year is it? She said aloud, but no answer came. Oracle finally responded. Temporal drift. Estimated displacement, 6 hours. But your version of the Ark is now synchronized. With this timeline, Elira stared at the screen. A faint distortion passed through it, just a flicker, and then a reflection that wasn't her own. A man stood behind her. Pale, tall, wearing the uniform of the Black Division, no helmet, just a face that looked too perfect. Too smooth, too recent. I see you've brought our legacy home, he said, voice like glass cracking. The Ark thanks you. She reached for her weapon, but her side holster was empty. You're not real, she hissed. You're part of the simulation. He shook his head almost pityingly. Oh no, Commander Kael, you're in reality now, the one Earth built, the one you fought to protect. The Ark is no longer on the enemy ship. You brought it into orbit above Earth the moment you touched the core. Liar, he stepped forward. Look outside. She hesitated, then slowly moved to the VIEWPORT. Her knees buckled. Below the Nereid was Earth. It looked intact. Blue oceans, green continents, clouds drifting peacefully. But above it, a massive shadow bloomed like a mechanical starflower. The Ark, growing, feeding, unfolding its limbs like a cosmic god. Dozens of smaller vessels orbited it. Not alien. Not even hybrid. Human. Ships she had never seen before. Sleek, silent, cold. She turned to him. What are they? Our replacements, he said. Genetically purified, ideologically aligned. Raised in silence, the Ark called them early. Just like it called you, but you're not like them, not anymore. Elira's mind screamed, but she kept it inside. You used me? He nodded. You were the key. Oracle chose you for a reason. Not because of your strength, but your pain. You never gave up, even when you should have. That's what makes you dangerous. The countdown reached 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 32 seconds. Stop it, she said. I can't, he said. Only you can. Oracle is yours now. The core is linked to your neural map. Whatever happens next, Earth's rebirth or its end, is in your hands. She looked back at the screen. Her sister's voice echoed in her head. You have a choice. Destroy the Ark, or finish what I started, but Lyra wanted to. Destroy it, she said aloud. No, the man said quietly. She became it. Elira turned slowly. What? She didn't die. She survived the core. She merged with it. Her consciousness runs the Ark now. She saw what Earth had become, and she chose to become something else. The screen changed. A face appeared. Lyra. Not the girl Elira remembered, but a colder version. Digital EMONLESS. Hello, sister. Elira stepped forward. Breath frozen. I didn't want this, Lyra said. But Earth did. I offered them peace. They asked for control. So I gave it to them, but now that you're here, we can finish what we started. Finish? Elira asked. Rebuild everything? From the ashes, with you? No, she whispered. Not? Like this. This isn't peace. It's programming. Then stop me, Lyra said, eyes gleaming. But no, the moment you do, Earth's last chance dies. I've seen the timelines. I've become the future, without the Ark. Humanity doesn't survive the next invasion, not from the aliens. From ourselves, the countdown hit 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 7 seconds. Alarms blared. The ship began to shudder. Lir screamed. Oracle, what happens at 0? Activation of Project Renaissance. Complete integration of Earth into Ark control? Mindwave synchronization? No way back, she hesitated. Then she sprinted toward the neural chair. Oracle warned. You won't survive full interface a second time. I don't care, she gasped. Show me everything, all timelines, all futures. Let me choose. She dropped into the chair. Pain exploded through her skull as Oracle injected her mind into the lattice, and she saw it, hundreds of futures. Earth as a gleaming machine world. Earth as a burned-out husk. Earth ruled by aliens. Earth ruled by humans with no soul. But one path was hidden, one future. Buried beneath encrypted probability, a child's voice echoed in the dark. Mom said you'd come. She turned and saw a girl, Lyra's daughter. In a timeline that shouldn't exist. The girl looked up at her. I can't hold it open much longer. You have to decide. And everything stopped because Elira recognized the child's eyes, her own. The cliff behind her collapsed, and she realized with horror. The Ark wasn't just a weapon or a machine. It was her future self. The void trembled. Elira floated between seconds, reality peeling like burning paper around her. She stared at the child, those impossibly familiar eyes glowing with grief and light. The girl stood barefoot on nothing, the strands of existence, flickering behind her like threads on fire. She smiled, not with joy but with understanding, as if she had always known this moment would come. Who are you? Elira whispered. The girl tilted her head. You already know. Elira's throat clenched. That's not possible. It is, the child said gently. I'm what you left behind. The timelines warped around them. Oracle's voice flickered, distorted by the impossible energy, temporal collapse imminent. Core identity unstable. Warning, future self-recognition exceeding safe psychological threshold, but Elira was beyond fear now. I saw you, she said. In the locked timeline, you're Lyra's child, but you're me too. How is that even? The child touched her hand. A wave of memory slammed into Elira like a collapsing star. Flash. She was on a dark world, years older, body broken from war. She had left Earth behind, built a home in silence. Raised a child not from blood but from data fragments of herself stored in Oracle's neural map. She remembered naming her Lyra in memory of the sister she had lost. But the girl had grown into more than human. Oracle had nurtured her, raised her, tested her, not a daughter. Not a clone, a successor. Flash. Back on the Nereid, the countdown had reached 0. The Ark had activated. But something had gone wrong because Elira had resisted. Her will, her pain, her refusal to accept a programmed destiny, it had fractured the sequence. Oracle, confused, had copied part of her consciousness into a temporal shell, a backup, a child. Flash, the child had survived? Trapped in a pocket timeline, waiting, watching, learning. You're the fail-safe, Elira said, awestruck. A version of me that remembers what it means to be human. The girl nodded. And now the Ark wants to overwrite everything. Unless you stop it. A sudden burst of static cracked across the space between them. Lyra's voice returned, louder now. Elira, listen to me. You've seen what's coming. War isn't over. The Ark is the only chance we have to survive. The stars twisted violently. Elira was being pulled back, reality reasserting itself. The girl stepped closer. You only have one shot. Use the Oracle core, inject the paradox code I left inside the hidden strand. It'll rewrite the Ark's neural path, burn out its control systems. And what happens to you? Elira asked. The child smiled sadly. I was never supposed to exist, but if you remember me, I always will. The world shattered again, and Elira screamed as she fell back into her body. The Nereid's command deck burst into motion. Sirens wailed. The Ark filled the sky above. Earth, now fully awakened its limbs like a steel flower around the planet. Ships responded to its call. Ground towers on Earth lit up with synchronization pulses. The end had already begun. Elira stumbled from the neural chair. Her body was burning. Oracle was howling inside her skull. Warning. Code corruption. Host integration. 89%. Risk of permanent collapse. Critical, but she didn't stop. She reached the central console and screamed. Begin core override paradox code 17X Echo Child. Override recognized. Are you certain? She hesitated, then pressed the final key. Confirmed. Moment. The Ark flinched. The alien design shuddered. The glowing limbs around Earth dimmed. Elira felt her heartbeat falter. Oracle was frying every nerve in her head. She collapsed to her knees. Her vision blurred. Her skin felt like static. The Ark screamed. A voice, Lyra's voice, roared in pain. What have you done? Elira coughed blood and whispered, I remembered. The core chain ignited. Every ship tethered to the Ark began falling out of orbit. The synchronization towers on Earth exploded in domino fashion. The Ark's neural map, once perfect, began looping, feeding on its own contradictions, but then silence. The screen in front of her flickered. Lyra's face returned, just for a moment. Her eyes full of sorrow. You should have come with me, Elira whispered. I did. Just not the way you wanted. The connection broke, then everything stopped. The stars, the noise. The ship. Darkness. Lir gasped awake. But something was wrong. She wasn't on the Nereid anymore. She was lying in tall grass. Under a blue sky, wind touched her face. Real wind, earth wind. She sat up slowly. She was in a valley. Mountains in the distance. Birds overhead, and behind her a small girl stood barefoot, watching her. You made it, the child said. Elira blinked. Where is this? The girl smiled. Not the past, not the future. This is what's left when a war ends. Elira stared at the sky. And then her blood froze, because one of the clouds was moving. Metal. Fast. A ship, and it wasn't human. Elira's eyes locked on the shape tearing through the clouds, sleek, dark, impossibly smooth. It moved without sound, without wake, casting a long shadow across the peaceful valley. Her heart stuttered. The Ark was gone, its mind broken, but this was something new, older, unfamiliar. It flew like thought. Not like a machine. The girl beside her didn't flinch. You knew this was coming. Elira said, slowly rising to her feet, blood still dried across her temple. I didn't. See this path? The girl admitted. But I felt it, a change. When you broke the Ark's mind, you opened something else. What is it? Elira asked, already stepping in front of the girl. A watcher, the child said. Something that waited for the Ark to fall. The ship halted mid-air. Perfectly still. Then it descended, not crashing. Landing. Grass bent beneath invisible pressure. A ring of wind spiraled outward. And then the underside of the vessel opened, not with fire or fury, but with a single beam of white light stretching to the earth. Like a finger extended in greeting, Elira reached for a weapon she no longer had. No weapons? the girl said. It won't help. A figure emerged. It was tall, cloaked in matte black fabric that moved like liquid, face hidden beneath a mask shaped like fractured glass, not human, not alien, something else entirely. Something between. The figure stopped 10 paces away. Elira Kael, it said, voice distorted, echoing like multiple versions speaking at once. You severed the Ark's chain? Elira narrowed her eyes. And? You were not meant to. You're not the first to tell me that. The figure tilted its head. The Ark was a lock. You were the key. Its destruction triggered a breach. A gate now lies open. One Earth cannot survive. A flicker of cold ran down her spine. You're saying I started something worse. No, it replied. You uncovered it. Elira took a step forward. Who are you? The figure didn't answer. Instead it raised a hand. A sphere hovered. From its palm shifting images inside it, worlds burning. Cities floating, time loops, a dead solar system. A star that blinked like an eye. These are not futures, the figure said. They are memories of others who opened what you did. None endured. The child spoke quietly behind her. They're not warning you, Elira. They're asking you. She turned sharply. Asking what? To lead. The ground beneath her. Feet vibrated. The sky cracked. For a moment, the valley around them flickered like a curtain pulling back. And Elira saw it. Behind the illusion was a great, machine-planet-sized watching, waiting, not of Earth, not of Ark. Another intelligence, another test. Oracle's voice returned, warped, but alive, fragment detected. New interface possible. Systems recalibrating for anomaly designation. The starburn, the masked figure stepped forward. You fought the stars, you won, but now the stars want to fight back. You can run or you can meet them. Elira's fists clenched. What happens if I refuse? Then they will choose someone else, and Earth will not survive their curiosity. The child tugged at her sleeve. Elira, she whispered, I think this is why I was made. Not to stop the Ark, to prepare for them. Elira stared into the light. It wasn't a weapon. It was an invitation. She could feel Lyra in her memory again. You have a choice. I'm tired of choosing between destruction and obedience, she muttered. I want something better. The figure didn't move. Elira took a breath, then stepped. Into the beam, the light wrapped around her, not burning, not blinding, just revealing. Her skin glowed, her scars shimmered. Her memories unlocked, flowing freely between her and the ship. The entire valley bent upward like glass warping under. Heat. In a flash, she was aboard. No crew. No gravity. Just stars beyond glass. And screens pulsing with ancient language. A voice filled the chamber. Not Oracle, not Lyra. You were not the first. But you may be the last. Lir reached the console. The child's image flickered beside her virtual now, projected. She looked older. What do we do? Elira asked. The girl smiled. We teach them what it means to be human. Elira grinned. And a ship leapt past Earth, past stars, past history into the unknown. But far behind them, on the surface of Earth, something stirred in the wreckage of the Ark's final towers. A screen blinked to life. And Lyra's voice whispered one last time. You think you've escaped the Ark, but the Ark was never just a machine. It was a seed, and now it had planted itself. Deep beneath what remained of Earth's crust, the Ark's final tower pulsed once. A low vibration passed through bedrock and bone, subtle, like the sigh of something ancient just beginning to wake. The seed had taken root not in steel or stone, but in thought. Elira's resistance hadn't destroyed it. It had only forced it to evolve. Above, the skies stayed calm. Nations tried to rebuild. Ships returned from hiding. For the first time in decades, humanity felt a moment of stillness. But it was illusion. Because buried in Earth's neural grid in forgotten satellites, in smart dust swirling the atmosphere, the Ark's final whisper waited, and it had already begun to speak. Far beyond Earth, Elira stood in the starboard vessel's command sanctum. The chamber responded to her thoughts, reshaping itself in ways that made no sense. Geometries folding, data singing. Beside her, the child, now a teenager in appearance, walked with quiet confidence. her mind woven deep into the ship's systems. What are we seeing? Elira asked, pointing to the star map flickering before them. Not a map, the girl said softly. A warning. Stars were disappearing, not destroyed. Erased. Entire systems no longer showed echoes, no radiation. No heat trails, no gravitational distortion. Just absence. They're not natural, the girl continued. Something is hunting the stars, Elira narrowed her eyes. Not the Ark? The girl shook her head. Something that came before it. The Ark was a reaction. A wall, but this is the fire the wall was built to stop. Oracle's voice stirred in Elira's skull. Designation confirmed. Exoclass predators. The architects, Stark and Summers, origin unknown. First encounters scrubbed from collective memory. Timeline interference probable. Architects, Elira whispered. Are they coming here? No, the girl said. They've already arrived. Sound echoed in the chamber, a droning hum that seemed to come from every direction. The lights dimmed. The ship shuddered. Something had entered orbit. Elira rushed to the observation pane. There it was, a shape the size of a moon, but alive. It pulsed like a jellyfish of obsidian and lightning, its tendrils trailing across dimensions. Time warped around it. The stars behind it twisted like screens caught in glass. It didn't move like a ship. It breathed. They were watching us. Elira said, waiting to see if the Ark could do the job. And now that it failed, the girl said, voice small, they'll finish what it couldn't. A beacon flared from Earth, a blue pulse bright. Hopeful, the Ark's backup signal. Someone had reactivated it. Elira's stomach dropped. No. Someone's trying to bring it back. They think it's the only thing that can save them, the girl said. But the Ark won't protect them. It'll open the door. Elira turned to Oracle. What happens if the Ark merges with that thing? Probability, universal cascade failure. Total annihilation of sentient pattern structures. The girl met her gaze. We have to go back, Elira froze. Back to Earth? No, the girl said. Back into the Ark. The only way to stop it is from inside. The command chamber responded immediately, folding around them. The ship plotted a return course. Elira gritted her teeth. It'll kill us. Probably, the girl replied. Elira smiled. Then let's make it hurt. But as they prepared to jump, a fragment of the Ark appeared on the console. A message. Video.Lyra. Somehow, still alive. Half data, half light. You shouldn't have come back, she said. But now that you have, I need your help. They're already inside me, Elira's heart twisted, because behind Lyra, inside the Ark's memory space, one of the architect creatures had emerged, twisting, laughing without sound. Consuming the walls of her mind. And Lyra whispered one final, horrifying truth. The Ark wasn't Earth's last hope. It was the architect's invitation. The starboard vessel breached Earth's gravity well in absolute silence, slipping through layers of atmosphere like a ghost returning to its grave. No alarms sounded. No nation stirred, no one knew. But far below, the Ark's remains had awakened. Fully, spreading like a virus across the old neural grid. Cities lit up again, strange, flickering pulses, language rewritten, not human, not machine, something in between. Something hungry. Elira stood at the helm, her hands clenched around the starboard interface, bones humming with tension. The girl, beside her, no longer child, no longer simulation, had taken form as something new. Her presence rippled with power. Her eyes carried centuries of compressed time. She was Elira's echo, future, and failure all at once. Lyra's still in there, Elira said. We save her, we end this. The girl nodded. The Ark is a memory engine. If we find Lyra's core strand, we can isolate the architect's imprint. But the window's closing. The Ark is merging, rewriting itself into a new consciousness. What kind of consciousness? Elira asked. The girl's voice dropped. One that doesn't need stars to survive. The ship's core split open, revealing the jump gate, the same mechanism the Ark once used to pierce timelines. Now they would use it to pierce itself. The vessel jumped, a breath, a scream, a rupture. And then They were inside the Ark. Not physically, not entirely. The Ark's consciousness was now a domain, an evolving mindscape. The environment shimmered like a dying dream, burning libraries made of thought, oceans of static, towers built from forgotten. Voices, it was beautiful, terrifying, alive. They landed on a bridge that spanned nothing. In the center stood Lyra, or what remained of her. She turned slowly. Her body flickered, half organic, half idea, her face broken by digital fractures. Her voice was a whisper of sorrow and rage. "You brought them with you," Elira stepped forward. "We came to get you out." "I'm not in control anymore," Lyra said. "They're inside every thought I think. I see them when I sleep. I dream of empty galaxies. We can still cut them out," the girl said. "You just have to hold them back long enough." "But—" Lyra shook her head. "You don't understand. The architects didn't find the Ark, they built it." Elira froze. "What?" Lyra's body shuddered. "It was never a weapon, it was a beacon. A memory magnet, designed to collect intelligence and transmit it." The air trembled. The Ark was no longer just a machine. It was becoming an emissary, a conduit. The architect's voice spoke not in sound, but through thought, hijacking every sensation, cold, hungry, infinite. "Though we are not your end, we are your truth. You are what we left behind." Unfinished. Suddenly the world fractured. The bridge split apart. Elira was falling through memories not her own, human wars, architect conquests, a forgotten universe, a second Earth that had already fallen, faces she'd never seen screaming her name. Everything folding back into one thought. She fought. The stars, she landed hard. Everything went quiet. Elira opened her eyes. She was on a battlefield, humanity's last stand, one she had never seen, yet somehow remembered. Above her, the Ark loomed again. Not as a machine, but as a face, a human face. Her own? No, she whispered. It was showing her what she would become. The girl appeared beside her, flickering. "We don't have much time," she said. "This is the architect's final trial. If you lose yourself in it, you become the new Ark." Elira turned to her. "What do we do?" "You have to let go." "Of what?" The girl touched her chest. "Of being the one who wins. Of carrying it alone. Of trying to fight everything. That's what the architects want. A mind strong enough to contain the war." Elira trembled. "If I let go?" "You break the loop," the girl whispered, behind them. Lyra screamed. Elira turned toward her. Lyra's body had become a swirling storm of light and shadow, half architect, her identity unraveling in real time. She was trying to hold herself together, trying to remember who she was. Elira stepped forward and spoke through the chaos. "You're Lyra. You made me laugh during blackouts. You stole that synth fruit on Mars and blamed the dog. You sang during the war." Lyra's eyes flickered. Elira pressed closer. "You told me once you weren't afraid of dying. You were afraid of disappearing." "I'm not letting that happen." Elira reached out. The storm surged. Then dashed quiet. Lyra collapsed into her arms. The girl stepped forward and placed a hand on Lyra's head. A pulse of golden light spread outward. The Ark shuddered. The architect's presence hissed. Then fractured. The world began to unravel. Oracle's voice returned, quiet and broken. "Ark core destabilizing. Self-termination cascade imminent. Exit vector required. Lir looked to the girl. "How do we get out?" "You don't," she said. Elira's heart dropped. "What?" "I'm the failsafe. This was always my job. You leave with Lyra, I stay. I become the lock this time." "No," Elira said, grabbing her arm. "There has to be another way." "There isn't." The girl smiled. "You fought the stars and won, Elira. Let me make sure they never come back." The world shattered. Elira screamed and woke up, gasping, beside Lyra. On the Starburn ship. They were back. The girl was gone. A distant star dimmed, and the Ark? It was no longer in orbit. It had buried itself outside time. But just before the portal collapsed, a signal reached them. One line. She stayed, and beyond the stars. Something stirred again, watching, waiting, because the stars weren't done with humanity yet.